All right, simplifying these two rational expressions. So when you look at the top, factor first, factor first, factor first, but it's not one of these that we've been doing with these quadratics. There are four terms. If you're being asked to factor something that has four terms, maybe you want to try a common factor right off the bat. Is there a common factor to any of those four terms? Do they have anything in common? No. So if you have four terms, you could try factor by grouping, where we look at the first two terms together. We look at these, and then we look at these, and we try to create a common binomial from those. Okay? So maybe we can do that. Let's take a look. From these first two terms, I see a common factor of x. So I can factor an x away from those two, x minus 3. From these last two, if factor by grouping is going to work, if this process is going to continue, then I need to get x minus 3 from this. I need to be able to factor something away from this so that I get x minus 3 in a binomial form. And I can do that if I factor out the a that they have in common. Typically it works that way. So I can factor out that positive a, leaving me with x minus 3. All right? Let's do the bottom as well. Well, no, you know what? Probably be better to just take this all the way through. So we have the x minus 3 that we write once. Even though there are two, I write it once. And then I have x plus a as my second binomial. Now let's look at the bottom. Again, four terms. A bit similar to what we had on top. Let's see if it works. I'm going to take these two and these two. See if I can group them together and get a common factor. The common factor from here is x. So I have x minus a. The common factor from here, and again, if this process is going to continue, I need the binomial that's left over to be x minus a. If this is going to say x minus a, I see the x, I see the a, but there's a plus sign in between. So how do I make that a negative? By doing what? How do I turn that plus into a minus? What do I have to do? I have to at least try taking out a negative. More specifically, a negative 3. So if you're looking here and you're like, oh, they have 3 as a common factor. Yes, but if I take 3 out, it's still going to be negative x plus a. Right? That's not the same as this. So I want it to say x minus a. I'm going to take that negative 3 out. Factoring negative 3 away from here leaves me with the x. Factoring negative 3 away from positive 3 is a negative 1. So when I group this, I have x minus a, x minus 3. I'm taking the x minus a binomial, writing it once. I'm taking x minus 3, writing it as a binomial. And I have x minus 3 on the top and the bottom. And it is being multiplied by something, so I can cancel those. My final answer being x plus a, x minus a. Resist the urge to call that negative 1. It is not. It is not. You can't cancel these. You cannot cancel those. Those are a part of a sum and difference, not factors.